I'm 73 years old, and I'm about to tell you something that the career counselors, HR departments, and LinkedIn influencers will never admit. They'll talk around it, they'll use euphemisms like culture fit and overqualified. But I'm going to tell you the brutal truth about what happens when you get older in the American workforce. And the worst part, if you're under 40 right now, you probably think this doesn't apply to you. You think you have decades before this becomes your problem. That's exactly what I thought. And that's exactly why you need to hear this now, before it's too late to prepare. You see, I spent 34 years building a career, started at 23 as an entry-level analyst, worked my way up, middle management by 35, senior director by 45, six-figure salary, stock options, the whole package. I thought I had built something secure, something that would carry me to retirement at 65, maybe even 70 if I wanted to keep working. At 56, that all disappeared. Not because I did anything wrong, not because I wasn't good at my job, but because a private equity firm bought our company, and suddenly I was expensive overhead. That's when I learned the first terrible truth about getting older in today's workforce. Your experience stops being an asset and starts being a liability the moment someone younger can do your job for half your salary. Let me tell you about the biggest lie they feed you when you're young and ambitious. They tell you to invest in your career, climb the ladder, build expertise, gain experience. And in exchange for your loyalty, your long hours, your sacrifices, you'll be rewarded with job security and respect. I believed this. I gave everything to my career, missed my daughter's dance recitals because I was in meetings, skipped vacations because there was always a project deadline, worked through weekends, answered emails at midnight. I thought I was building security for my family. I thought I was building a foundation that couldn't be shaken. When I was 45, my boss told me I was indispensable, said the company couldn't run without people like me, gave me a nice bonus. I felt proud, validated, secure. 11 years later, that same company cut me loose with 2 weeks severance and a generic restructuring email sent at 5 p.m. on a Friday. You know what I learned in that moment? The word indispensable has an expiration date. And for most of us, that date arrives somewhere in our 50s. Here's something nobody tells you when you're in your 20s and 30s. Grinding away at your career, every promotion, every raise, every year of experience. You think you're building value, and you are, but you're also building something else, your price tag. By the time you're in your 50s, if you've done everything right, you're making good money. You've got decades of raises and promotions behind you. You might be making 2 or 3 times what someone in their 20s makes for similar work. And that makes you a target. When companies need to cut costs, and they always eventually need to cut costs, they look at spreadsheets. And on those spreadsheets, one 56-year-old senior director costs the same as two 28-year-old managers. The math is simple, brutal, but simple. After I was let go, I watched it happen to others. My friend Richard, 54, 28 years with his company, gone, replaced by two guys in their 30s who split his responsibilities. Tom, 59, VP of Operations, forced into early retirement, which is corporate speak for, we're pushing you out but making it sound like your choice. Linda, 52, Brilliant marketing director, position eliminated during reorganization. 6 months later, they hired someone to do her exact job. She was 31 and made 40% less. You see the pattern? This isn't about being bad at your job. It's about being expensive. And in corporate America, expensive becomes disposable when the quarterly numbers need improving. But here's where it gets worse. It's not just about salary, it's about relevance. After I lost my job, I started sending out resumes. I had 34 years of experience, multiple successful projects, a track record of results. I thought I'd have companies lining up. I was wrong. 6 months of applications, hundreds of resumes sent. You know how many callbacks I got? 12. You know how many interviews led to offers? 0. And I started to realize why. The job descriptions had changed. They wanted skills I didn't have, experience with software I'd never used, familiarity with methodologies that didn't exist when I started my career. I had 34 years of expertise, but suddenly it was the wrong kind of expertise. Here's the thing about skills in the modern economy. They have a shelf life, and that shelf life keeps getting shorter. When I started my career in the late 70s, you could learn a skill set and ride it for 20, 30 years. My father was an accountant, used the same basic methods his entire career, retired with dignity at 65. Today, the tools change every 5 years. The platforms change every 3 years. The best practices change constantly. And when you're 56, competing against 30-year-olds who grew up with the new technology, who learned it in college, who adapt to it naturally, you're already behind. Not because you're stupid, not because you can't learn, but because learning gets harder as you age. And companies don't want to invest in training someone who might only have 5 to 10 years left anyway. I tried to keep up, took online courses, watched YouTube tutorials, paid for certifications. But you know what I discovered? Age discrimination doesn't happen in job interviews anymore. It's too obvious, too illegal. It happens in the resume screening. Your application goes into an algorithm, and that algorithm sees your graduation year, your decades of experience, and filters you out before a human ever sees your name. Let me tell you what job hunting is like when you're older. It's humiliating, it's soul-crushing, and it goes on far longer than you think possible. When you're young and you lose a job, you're unemployed for maybe 2 or 3 months. It's stressful, but it's temporary. The offers come, you move on. When you're over 50, I was unemployed for 14 months. 14 months of watching my savings disappear. 14 months of feeling worthless. 14 months of my wife trying to stay positive while I sank deeper into depression. And I wasn't alone. Everyone in my over 50 job seekers support group had the same story. 8 months, 11 months, 18 months. One guy was 2 years without stable work. You send applications into the void. You get automated rejections, if you get anything at all. And the few interviews you do get, you can feel it in the room. They've already decided. They brought you in to check a box, to say they considered someone with experience, but they're going to hire the younger candidate. Sometimes they're polite about it. We're looking for someone who can grow with the company long term. Translation: you're too old. We need someone with fresh perspectives. Translation: you're too old. We're concerned about culture fit. Translation: you're too old. I had one interviewer, couldn't have been more than 35, Ask me if I'd be comfortable taking direction from younger managers. The condescension was palpable, like I was some fragile artifact who couldn't handle the modern workplace. After 14 months, I finally got an offer. You know what it was? A contract position, no benefits, no job security, making 30% less than I'd made in my previous role, doing work that honestly was below my skill level. But I took it because at 57, with dwindling savings and no other options, you take what you can get. And that's where millions of older workers end up, not in the careers they built, not in positions that match their experience, but in whatever they can find: contract work, part-time roles, gig economy jobs, anything to pay the bills. I have a friend, brilliant engineer, 30 years of experience, who drives for Uber now, not because he wants to, because nobody will hire him for engineering work. Another friend from my old company works retail, 61 years old with an MBA, stocking shelves for $15 an hour. This is the reality they don't show you. The LinkedIn posts about successful career changes and finding your passion. Those are the exceptions. The vast majority of us who lose careers in our 50s never recover. We take pay cuts we never make back. We lose benefits we desperately need at this age. We work jobs that don't challenge us, don't fulfill us, don't even pay enough to rebuild our decimated retirement savings. And we do this for 10, 15, 20 more years until we can finally retire, if we can retire at all. They love to tell stories about people who reinvented themselves later in life, started new careers at 50, found their passion, built something new, and yes, those people exist. I've met a few, but you know what they had? Money, savings, a spouse with income, financial cushion to take risks. Most of us don't have that. Most of us have mortgages, college tuition, aging parents who need help. We can't afford to reinvent ourselves. We can't take unpaid internships to break into new fields. We can't start at the bottom of a new industry. When you're 25 and you want to change careers, it's an adventure. When you're 55, it's a financial catastrophe. And the people selling you courses on how to reinvent your career after 50, they're making money off your desperation. Here's another thing that happened when I lost my job. My retirement plan collapsed. I had been contributing to my 401k for decades. I was on track. Then I was unemployed for 14 months, burning through savings. Then I took a 30% pay cut. Suddenly, I wasn't contributing anything. I was withdrawing just to cover expenses. In 18 months, I lost almost a decade of retirement progress. And here's what haunts me. I did everything right. I saved. I invested. I lived below my means. But one job loss in my 50s wiped out years of careful planning. Now I'm 73. Still working part-time because I have to. My retirement isn't what I planned. My golden years are spent worried about money, taking on consulting work when I can get it, living more frugally than I ever imagined. My father retired at 65 with a pension and Social Security, lived comfortably, traveled, enjoyed his final years. I'll probably work until I physically can't anymore, and I'm one of the lucky ones. I have some savings left. Many people my age have nothing. 3 years after I lost my career at 59, I had a heart attack. Not a massive one, but enough to land me in the hospital for a week. And lying in that hospital bed, I realized something. All those years I sacrificed for my career, the time away from family, the stress, the health problems from sitting at a desk 12 hours a day. What did it get me? It got me fired at 56 with 2 weeks severance. It got me 14 months of humiliating job searches. It got me a retirement that keeps getting pushed further away. It got me a heart attack at 59 from stress and neglect. I gave my career everything, and my career gave me nothing when I needed it most. If I could go back and talk to myself at 30, at 40, even at 50, here's what I would say. Stop thinking your company will take care of you. They won't. The moment you become more expensive than you're worth to them, you're gone. Start building financial security outside your salary, multiple income streams, investments, skills that can translate to freelance work, because your salary will disappear, and it will disappear when you're least prepared for it. Don't let your entire identity become your job title, because when that job disappears, and it will, you'll lose yourself along with it. Take care of your health. I thought I'd have time to focus on that later. I was wrong. The stress destroyed my body. Now I'm dealing with the consequences. Spend time with people you love. I missed so much of my kids' lives for a career that threw me away. I can never get that time back. And most importantly, understand that the rules changed. The social contract between workers and employers that my father's generation had, it's gone. You will not have a 40-year career with one company. You will not retire with a pension. You will not be rewarded for loyalty. You are disposable. Plan accordingly. Here's the truth. Nobody wants to say out loud. Our economy is designed to extract maximum value from you while you're young and productive, then discard you when you become expensive. Companies want workers in their 20s and 30s, energetic, cheap, willing to work 80-hour weeks because they're still trying to prove themselves. No families yet to slow them down. No health problems. No expensive benefits packages. By the time you hit your 40s and 50s, you're asking for work-life balance. You have health issues. You cost more. You question authority. You're not as easy to control, so they push you out, replace you with younger, cheaper, more compliant workers. And the cycle continues. And the government, they raise the retirement age to 67. Social Security might not exist by the time younger generations need it. Medicare ages aren't keeping pace with how long companies keep you working. You're caught in this impossible gap. Too old to hire, too young to retire, with no safety net to catch you. I know this is depressing. I know you probably don't want to hear it. When I was young, I wouldn't have wanted to hear it either. But I'm 73 years old. I've lived through this. I've watched it happen to dozens of people I know. And I'm watching it happen to a new generation who has no idea what's coming. I'm telling you this because you need to prepare, not 10 years from now, not when you have more time. Now, build savings that can sustain you for a year without income, because you might need them. Develop skills that can translate to freelance or contract work, because traditional employment might not be available. Invest in relationships and experiences while you can, because the career you're sacrificing everything for will not sacrifice anything for you. Don't wait until you're 56 and unemployed to figure this out. Don't wait until you're 73 and full of regrets. You have a choice today. You can keep believing that hard work and loyalty will be rewarded. You can keep thinking it won't happen to you. You can keep assuming you have time to figure this out later. Or you can wake up. You can understand the system you're in. You can protect yourself. You can build the security your employer won't provide. You can create a life that doesn't depend entirely on a salary that can disappear overnight. I can't make this choice for you, but I can tell you, you don't want to be 73 looking back, wishing you had prepared better, wishing you had understood sooner, wishing someone had warned you. I'm warning you now. The workforce doesn't want older workers. They'll keep using you until you're too expensive. Then they'll discard you. That's not cynicism. That's reality. That's what I learned the hard way. Don't learn it the hard way. Learn from my mistakes. Protect yourself. Build financial security. Diversify your income. Invest in relationships and health. Because the career you're building right now, it won't last as long as you think. And when it ends, you'll need more than just a resume. You'll need a life you actually built for yourself. The clock is ticking, not just on my life, but on your career security. What are you going to do about it?